The news is so bizarre.
Yeah, you get
the
what
format's so bizarre.
We get what we want from it, though, because everybody likes to be entertained by news. So if there was, it's like drug use. If there isn't the user, then the dealer goes broke.
It's way less popular than it's ever been in human history. Like in the
Mm-hmm.
history of television news, the news, like the evening news and CNN, those things, are less popular than they've ever been.
Right.
Ever. And it's because people are tired of it. It's a shitty format. And in comparison to long-form discussions like independent interview shows, like, there's so many different political shows now and podcasts where people have nuanced perspectives. And if you really want to understand what's going on in the world, like complicated issues like the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, like you need people to break it down to you, and they're not going to get it in 5 minutes. You're not going to. You're going to get they hate us for our freedom. That's what you're going to get in 5 minutes.
Right.
You're going to get nonsense talking points.
No, I remember when I grew up, like Walter Cronkite was still on the air somewhere. I remember he was on CBS, I think. My earliest news memory was when Apollo and Soyuz, the two, the Russian and the American capsule, docked in mid-space. There was something where they were both up there once and they ran into each other and saw each other from the window and kind of got close and thought, hey, what if we could meet? So they went back and they fashioned a dock. This is like in the early 70s or mid 70s. And they went up and they docked, and then they walked, they hung out and drank vodka. Anyway, it was during the Cold War. It was a big deal. And I remember Walter Cronkite, I think this is what I remember. I could be wrong. But Walter Cronkite saying, if you live in the northeast of the United States, if you go outside tonight, if you look up, you'll see a red light and a white light blinking next to each other, and that's them in orbit. And I went up and I fucking saw it, and it blew my mind.
Wow.
And the way he said it with a little bit of a smirk, like, isn't that cool? Because he was very stoic. But there was a thing back then where there was just him and David Brinkley. There was a couple of news organizations, and then like PBS. And you kind of got a sense that they were on it, and also that it wasn't fun. They had ethics, that they took years of training in college and school to get through, and a system of a hierarchy of whatever internships, and that by the time you were running the network news, you were a serious person that took it seriously.
Yes.
And I remember maybe in the mid '80s when I started to hear this sound from the news, that I thought, what are you doing? And then sometimes it sounded like this.
Right.
And they're saying, and I was like, what are you fucking I could hear the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were, but that back then they were just trying to make it sound interesting when it wasn't. They didn't start having this opinion thing yet,
Right.
But it became a show, and now it's a show about opinions. It's entertainment, and like any other entertainment organization in America, they ran it way past the finish. They went way past it. Nobody likes it anymore, and they're running it to the ground. They can't they don't know when to stop.
Yeah. Well, that's the train they're on, right? Do you think Fox started it? Was it Fox that started this like aggressive sort of opinion version of the news? Were they the first, and then everybody else sort of had to respond to it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Fox is the first
I'm an
to
idiot.
put
I don't know that.
hot ladies in short skirts. They were the first.
Well, there was. I mean, look,
On the
fucking Barbara
news?
Walters was hot when she started. That was
Right, but she dressed appropriately. She was very attractive, but she dressed appropriately.
Do you remember thinking that?
Yes,
When
I
you were
do.
a kid?
When I was
you
a
know
little
what?
kid.
She's attractive, but
She's very composed, and she dressed
Yes.
appropriately, and the way she handled Sean Connery was great.
yeah, I liked her. I found her. I liked the bump on her nose. She had kind of a funny face.
You like that?
Yeah.
Why'd you like that?
I don't know. I liked Barbara
Imperfection?
Streisand. That was sort of the same for me.
I like Lauren Hutton because she had that gap in her teeth.
Yeah, little flaws are
I
very,
like that.
very attractive.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand was in this movie. What's it called?
Stars Born?
No, fucking with Ryan O'Neal. It's a great movie. Peter Bogdanovich, who just died. Does this fella know?
The Way We Were?
No, it was a comedy. What's Up, Doc?
What's Up, Doc?
Great movie. Holds up.
Yeah?
Hilariously funny movie.
Really?
And she was funny as fuck. She was really, to me, I always liked funny women when I grew up. I was raised by a single mom, so women being like, it was my 3 sisters. My whole life, I've raised 2 girls All my dogs have been women.
Your dogs are women?
Well, girls. I don't know, women. I respect them. They're not girls.
I get it.
Yeah. But I always liked her. She was funny and sexy.
She was hot in the young days.
Yes.
When she was young. She did have that look.
Yep. Big nose.
Hot Jewish lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot Jewish girls.
Ooh. Yeah. Well, growing up in Newton,
Yeah.
the hot Jewish girls were the thing.
Yes. And they were cool and they were brassy and they just say the thing. No, my girlfriend in high school was Jewish and I was deeply in love with her. I had one year, senior year.
Yeah?
Girlfriend. She was great. I didn't care about anything else.
How did it fall apart?
She went to college and I didn't. I never went to college. So she went to Dartmouth. So now she's in like Ivy League school.
She can't be hanging out with a loser like you.
Fucking no. And I'm like showing up in a Datsun B210 to visit her. Hi. And I saw the look on her face like, dude,
This is over.
you know you can't. You see these people?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
This is over.
Hurt really bad too.
Oh,
I saw her
yeah.
recently. She came and saw me on the road.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's so happy to see
God,
me.
that's got to be bizarre.
Yes. First girlfriend and we're in our 50s.
Ooh. Wow.
Do you ever see any of your exes?
No, not. I ran into my ex from high school when I was 25 or 26 in New York.
Oh, it's not that far after.
No, it wasn't that far after, but it was interesting. It was like we were kind of adults now.
Yeah.
And we hung out in a little bit, but then we went on a little road trip together, and she was so annoying. She was so annoying that I faked that I had my friend called me up, and I faked that I forgot to take him somewhere so I could get rid of her. I go, I'm so sorry, I forgot. My friend Johnny's on the phone. What the fuck are you talking about? I go, dude, I forgot I'm supposed to take you there. I'm really sorry.
Oh,
I go,
no.
Listen, let me take care of it. I can still do it. Don't worry. I can take care of it. I told her, I'm really sorry, but I got to drive my friend. And I just like, God.
I've lied to a lot of people.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
That was one that I really wish I hadn't done it. I really wish I had confronted her and said, listen, I know, because she drove from like D.C. to visit me, but it was awful. It was awful. She was just nagging. She would just like, don't do this, don't do that. Like I try to listen to music in the car. She's like, I don't want to hear that. It wasn't like, why don't we listen to something that we both like? It wasn't a conversation. It was just, and I remember like, oh, this is what you were like in high school.
She was like. So she just